All right, so let's really visit this though, because it doesn't matter how much recruiting you do, how much winning you do, how many people want to work with your firm. If people keep quitting and they never stay, it's almost like you're wasting your time. You're investing this time into people that it's never a waste. Energy never goes to waste. These people benefit from the time with your company, and they learn a lot. But you can't scale if you're just recycling people and never actually maintaining and holding on to people. We had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young, we were broke, we didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it. So let's visit it. Let's spend some time on this, because you guys, this is our last episode of the season.
Sad.
And you said sad?
Kind of.
Yeah, I think it's been a good season, but
It has.
this is a topic that we can end with that can really make a difference and an impact in someone's business long term. Mm-hmm. So let's go through. We're going to go through a couple points, you guys. We wrote down 7 reasons why people quit.
Yeah. So first one, just if I could say it in one word, it's vision. It's people who don't know what their dreams are. They're not clear about it. They're not clear about what they want. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm fired up.
They're not clear about what they want. You have to get clear about their vision and their dreams, because that's really what excites people. If they're going to be doing something out of the ordinary for them, out of their comfort zone, there has to be a good enough reason for people to do it.
Right. We had our mentor asked us to write down our top 25 dreams now at this point in our life. And what was funny about it is that we spent the first few years knocking off everything we wanted, right? Paying off debt, saving some money, getting an emergency fund, retiring ourselves, getting to the point where you didn't have to go to work, things like that. And then we realized like dream cars came next, dream home came next. And then when he asked us to put 25 things down, we're like, damn, this is really hard. And we never unlocked like a new set of dreams and a bigger vision for the future. And so people quit a lot of times because they get here and they just want to make some money.
Yeah, people have to have something to fight for. Because when times are hard, and especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're an aspiring entrepreneur, when things get hard, you have to have those reasons that make it worth it to you.
To stay.
Yeah. Because, maybe you wanting a nicer car, maybe that's not a good enough reason because you're okay with the car you have.
Right. It's the stuff that hurts, people join you in business because there's something that they know they're going to gain, or they believe there's room for gain, and then they stay for fear of loss. And so when someone's got a locked in vision on this is what I'm trying to build, quitting means I'm probably never going to get those things. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't happen if that clarity doesn't exist. So number 2, I think this is one that a lot of people struggle with. There was a lady who used to be in business a while back, and she asked me one time, she said, Jay, I'm struggling with keeping people, retention. And I said, I could give you the honest answer of why they quit. And she said, yeah, tell me. And I said, because you just see dollar signs all over everyone's face. You don't genuinely care about these people. Like, they're not your friends, they're not your family, they're just your agents. And all you're thinking about is money. And you're not building a real relationship with them where you're spending time with them through the good times and the bad times. And you're going out of your way to text them and say, hey, how's your family? And you're building a relationship with their family. And you invite them for dinner and you spend time with them, a genuine relationship.
Yeah, people want to work with people who care about them. They want to be coached by people who care about them. Nothing else matters unless they feel like they can trust you and they like you and that you are looking out for their best interests.
Yeah, and they know you got their back, right? Mm-hmm. Finding ways to give and contribute to them. in time and energy and in experience and financially, and trying to find clients for them and trying to find teammates for them and like giving away stuff that you could have kept yourself. Like it's little things like that, I think that really make people stay, because it's easy to love on people and support them when they're at the top, but it's you showing you could do that all the way through the process when this person's like really laying in bed at night going, God, I really want to win here, and they got to know that you have their back.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another one is growth. I believe people are at their happiest when they're growing.
Yeah.
When they're making progress. And if they're working with you and they feel like they're not learning anything, they're not growing, they're not seeing results, everything's moving very, very slowly, people will fall off. They'll gradually they won't even quit. They'll just gradually slip into the background and fade away.
Yep. And you're in control of that because you really control how fast somebody goes. Mm-hmm. So when someone starts in business with us, like we're off to the freaking races. We do what's called a fast start, and it's fast. It's not slow. Any company, no matter what kind of company you run, the onboarding process, I believe in business and entrepreneurship, has to be fast. And then every day I'm finding a way to make this person feel like they're making progress, right? I'm finding a way we're filling out paperwork and I'm like, hey, Ronnie, you're going to fill this out today. And they're like, what, really? And that moment is in their head the rest of the day. It was the littlest thing that gives them this feeling of progress.
Mm-hmm. That confidence building. It's so little. It seems so little, but them knowing how to do something extra.
Yep. You remember when we learned that? The first time?
When?
Someone said, if you do for your team what they could do for themselves, then you paralyze them.
Is that Nick?
Yep, Nick Lancaster. Yep. That was one of
Shout out.
Biggest learning moments in our career.
Oh, yes.
Where you start building independent people, right? It's progress. It's little wins. It's little victories along the way. It's finding them results. It's teaching them. It's them constantly making this feeling of progress. They got to feel like they're winning. People quit when they stop feeling like they're getting better or they're getting results or they're making more money. Like there's got to be those feelings along the way.
They have to be getting value out of it. No, that's not always monetary.
Right.
Like we've been talking about. None of the things we've said have been monetary. It's all been in growth and learning.
Right. One thing is like your trainings. So if you're running trainings with your company, and I always remember Dan said, the day that people stop getting value from your meetings is the day they stop showing up. That scared the crap out of us. I was like, damn, we got to make sure we don't suck on these meetings. We can't just have meetings to have meetings.
Yeah, it's true. It's important. You can't just phone it in.
Yeah, you can't. And you can't do 5-hour meetings if they're not good.
Especially now with Zoom, people do not want to sit there.
No.
For 5 hours.
No. It's got to be really good.
Especially if it's a weekly thing. No.
Oh, yeah, heck no. Death by meetings.
Yes.
Bankruptcy by meetings.
There you go.
Okay, so moving slow sucks, and people will quit. It's so easy to jump off the train when the train's barely moving. Mm-hmm. You got to get this thing going fast. That way people are like, they're scared to leave. They're scared to quit. They're scared to jump. Another one. Go ahead, number 4.
You're not enrolling the people that are closest to them, their friends, their family. When somebody's trying to do something new and they're investing all this time into it, they may be going home and maybe their partner or their kids, they're going to feel like, wait, like you're not spending as much time with us. So your family has to know why you're doing what you're doing and you're doing it for them. If you help your teammates, enroll their family members, it's going to be a more cohesive and enjoyable experience. There's nothing like having the people closest to you not only rooting for you, but helping you. Yeah.
How do you coach that? Here's how you coach that. You have conversations with this person that's in business with you, and you have to reshape the way they look at things. It's not a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. It's just an investment. Everything doesn't have to be a sacrifice. It's an investment. Like we have a lady on the team who has a newborn baby, and I just talked to her today, and I was telling her, because we have another new mom on the team who's kind of struggling with balancing her time. And the new mom told me about the other new mom. She's like, man, does she just never see her kids, or how is she still running appointments and getting all this done? Like, I can't figure it out. And I told her, I said, well, first of all, it's her second child, not her first one. So she's a little bit more experienced. And number two, she just finds a way. Mm-hmm. She finds a way to get it done. But it's shaping their thinking to understanding, like, hey, it's okay if you run appointments. Hey, it's okay if sometimes you have to miss your kid's football game or something. It's okay if you get home a little bit late and you miss dinner. Like, because you're teaching them how to communicate to their family that, hey, you know what? I'm not at work. I'm out winning. You know, we're getting to the point where whatever it is, whatever these family goals are that they have.
It makes so much difference to have that in place, that support in place.
Yeah. And you get it when you just communicate, hey, just so everyone knows, this is what we're doing right now. It's going to take a little bit of time. Things are going to be a little bit different, and it's because we're building something really freaking huge for our family.
Yeah, you got to let them know what the game plan is.
Yep.
What's the game plan?
And then you as the coach, find a way to, when you run one-on-one coaching calls or whatever, try to get their family involved. Try to get their spouse on the meeting. You know, make sure you mention their spouse, especially in the Zoom era when you know they're probably in the background listening somewhere. Make sure you acknowledge their existence, things like that. Otherwise, people quit because they don't have home support. Like, the home front doesn't get it. Everyone at home doesn't get it. They're like, what the hell is mom doing? You know, and it just becomes this negative thing. So, and then you lose people over things that you shouldn't have lost people over. It should be very hard for someone to quit. Like, you should have to really F a lot of stuff up for someone to quit, because all of these things here are things that you could do very easily that are not, none of these things are worthy of someone quitting.
Exactly.
Number 5. This is a big one.
Yes.
In fact, let's skip this one and we'll do it as number 6.
Okay.
So number 5, you're using shame to motivate people. Now, you put this one on the list, so why don't you elaborate on this one?
Yes. So I think in some environments this might work, right? I think shame is used sometimes in sporting, you know, in coaching with sports and things like that. But
what's an example of shame?
It's highlighting things that people are doing wrong versus highlighting things that people are doing right. My grandma was a second grade teacher, and people always used to ask her, how are you controlling a classroom of 40 second graders? And she said, I just, you know, recognize kids for, hey, you know, so-and-so, you're sitting so nicely. Hey, you're doing you're coloring, you know, by yourself. And everybody wants that positive recognition. Everyone wants to feel good and to be recognized for doing something good. So people will work for that. But if you make someone feel embarrassed or ashamed or, you know, and they're doing this voluntarily, right? They're trying to do something new. They're going to quit. They're not going to want to be in an environment where they don't feel good about themselves.
Yeah, I like that you said that they're doing this voluntarily, because I always talk about how what you're trying to build is a volunteer army, right? Because that's really what you're building. Like, none of these people in business with you have to be there. You know, these are people that are getting in business with you because they go, man, if I just grab on and follow these people, like, I'm going to get somewhere. Like, I have to get somewhere because they're going to get somewhere. And I'm going to get somewhere too just by being there. And so shaming people like, God, man, why do you suck so bad at this? Like, can't you do better? Like, I thought you wanted to take care of your family. Like, what the hell? You know, like, that kind of stuff just, I'd say for like 95 out of 100 people, that doesn't work.
It's not uplifting.
It actually works for me, but it doesn't work for
I know a
people.
couple people who that does work with. They respond more to negative reinforcement than positive reinforcement. You can tell them all the nice things in the world, but they, you know, they're like, okay, that's cool. But you tell them, you know, something negative, like, you can't do that. You'll never be able to do that. And they're set on a mission to prove you wrong. But like he said, the majority of people, you need to use positive, you know, encouragement, positive praise, and just appreciate people.
I'm motivated more.
Yeah.
Because you tell me positive things like, "Oh, Jay, you're so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I already know."
He
that.
knows.
but then you tell me like, "Hey, so and so's kicking your ass," and I'm like, like, "Damn, dude, remember what it used to be like to be number one?" Like,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of stuff. Then I'll be up all night,
burns.
laying in bed thinking about that. But it doesn't work for a lot of people, and I'll tell you that in the beginning, Ronnie and I, we made this mistake in some cases because you assume everyone's motivated the same way, or you assume everyone's motivated like you. And then you're challenging people and you're putting people head to head and you're creating this, what you think is a competitive environment. And it's all we ever knew. Like that's literally the environment we grew up in. And then it caused like almost like full blown fist fights in the middle of the office.
It definitely took us a while to understand that it wasn't, we thought, oh, it's healthy competition. It was not healthy competition. It's definitely not something.
Yeah, we're like, compete, you freaking weenie. Why don't you want to compete? You know, and like some people, now we look back and we're like, damn, what were we thinking? But that's all we ever knew. And then you start to realize everyone's not motivated the same way. Some people, they're perfectly content getting their face kicked in by life. That's why it's been kicked in for so long. Like they're okay with it. And then other people aren't. Some people are motivated by helping people. Some people are motivated by making money. Some people are motivated by recognition. Some people are motivated by purpose and fulfillment. But not everyone's motivated the same way. And shaming people into trying to get them to work, 99 times out of 100 is not going to work.
Just learn from our mistakes. Don't make them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go on to the next one. That was a big one. Why people quit. Go ahead. Why do people quit?
Because why are you smiling? Why do people quit? Because you got to think about the environment that they're in, right? They may be trying to transition from, being an employee to being an entrepreneur, but everybody in their associations is an employee. So if you're not the one who's talking to them every day and, encouraging them and giving them feedback, then somebody is talking to them. It's not you. So you kind of leave it up to chance. So these other people who are in their circle who are talking to them, they could either be positive or, more than likely they're negative.
They're almost always negative.
Right.
I have so much respect for people when they go, for like these people that I never meet, when they're like, someone's like, hey, yeah, then I was talking to my aunt and my aunt told me that she thinks it's a great idea. I'm like, well, damn,
right.
Respect to your aunt because like she's one of the people that gets it. And most people would rather piss all over your parade than celebrate you, right?
Most people are pessimistic.
Negative.
Skeptical.
Negative. Yeah, that's normal human nature, right? Skeptical, cynical, pessimistic, negative, complain. There must be a catch somewhere. This sounds too good to be true.
But they'll call themselves realists.
Yeah, right. Real dumbass, but okay, never mind.
Bleep.
I should have said that. Bleep. Well, no, I mean it though.
This inside voice, outside voice.
I filtered it though. It was filtered. I promise. I took out like 4 words out of that sentence. But here's the reality. It's like that's natural human nature, right? And it doesn't even mean they have bad intentions. It's just they tried something and failed. And so then they just assume nothing works because it didn't work for them. Or they know a friend who had a friend who had a friend whose daughter's boyfriend's gardener's son tried something and it didn't work. And then automatically negative. Or someone tried to recruit them and did a really poor job, and now they just think everything in the world is a scam. Like, there's a million reasons why. But to Ronnie's point, if you're not the number one voice in this person's ear every day, people are going to quit. And they're all going to quit, and then you have all this crap that just blows up around you like you're in the middle of a war zone and everything goes to shit, and you can't figure out why. You're like, God, I must be doing something wrong. Why am I so bad at this? And you start thinking it's you. And the reality is that when they're with you, they're fine. But it's when they go back home and they go back to life and then the communication from you stops and someone else is putting all this stuff in their head, that's when you're losing people.
Yeah, and if you start talking to them the second you notice that they're fading into the background, you're already too late.
Oh, yeah.
People quit in their head way longer than they quit.
2 weeks before they tell you. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Okay, last one. This is going to blow your mind. You might be doing everything right, and then sometimes people are just still going to quit.
Some people are quitters.
And that's just how it goes.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. They're professionals. This is one thing that by the time we get to adulthood, everyone is a professional at quitting and giving up on stuff. We've done it before. You get the text. You see it. It's this long. And you're like, oh God.
You already start scanning it for the word.
Because you know it ain't this long to tell you how much they appreciate you and how much of a blast they're having, right?
And it usually starts with, I'm not quitting, but.
Oh, yeah. But I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Or, the worst is when they blame it all on God. That's the worst. Like they started in business and they're like, this is the thing I've been praying for. This is what I've been praying for. And then 10 days later, they quit. And you're like, bro, who was wrong? You or God? Like, someone got it wrong. And they literally I've been praying for this. This is the opportunity. I believe nothing happens by accident. I don't believe in coincidences. And 10 days later, they quit. And then you're like, what the hell? You just told me that you believe God gave you this opportunity and that you already quit. Like, it's the craziest freaking thing. But that's how it works. So you could do everything right and people still quit. And when that happens, here's what you need to do. Save yourself a lot of trouble by you going back and trying to figure out what you did wrong. Because we always do that. We go, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Have systems in place. Have systems in place for how you do everything. How you onboard someone, how you train someone, how you communicate with someone. That way you could just check the boxes and go, you know what? I did everything right. It just wasn't the right person. And you'll get to the point where, man, I could spot a quitter before they even start. You just know.
You get that feeling. Know. You just know.
Yeah, you just know. Or, man, they start today and they're already talking about quitting their job tomorrow and how they're going to take over the world. They get up in front of the room. They're like, I'm going to kick everyone's ass. I remember this one piece of crap loser at Wealth Bowl. I filtered it. Who got on stage and said in front of 800 people how he was going to destroy us. And he's not even in the freaking company anymore. And so, like, the reality is that you just know. You just always know. Mm-hmm. What are you doing over there?
Nothing.
I'm going to tag them in this video, too.
No.
There's like 10 of the same people, by the way. But anyways, all right, you guys. Season 2 is done.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm glad that we're back.
I'll never forget that day at Wealth Bowl.
It
wasn't Wealth Bowl. Vegas Convention breakout meeting. Still remember. He's like 3.5 feet tall.
Stop.
Not going to say his name.
And so before he loses his filter completely, just shout out to DJ Just Jay. Check out his music, our producer. But also he's very creative and he makes his own music. And, he DJs live as well, so check out.
He knows how to handstand and twerk at the same time.
So if there was any reason for you to follow him on Instagram, that is a good enough reason by itself. And then shout out to Sherry Kubeng Bang. Follow her on Instagram too. She said no, but yes, do it.
It takes an army to put out something that's decent. And so Ronnie and I don't do any of the editing or any of this stuff ourselves.
None of that credit goes to us.
Does it. Yep. So anyways, you guys, all right, season 2 is done. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate all the support. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, love you
and
guys.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And Thanksgiving and all the above. And you may be watching this in 10 years. And so if you are, right now it is December 1st of 2022.
Remember me this way.
All right, you guys, we're out.